Hello, hello, and welcome. I forgot to reload the stinger on the ATEM when it came back up. Welcome. I'm back home in the studio today. I cannot even tell you how good it feels to wear a sweater. Oh my god, I cannot handle that weather. I am back. I got back last night, so if I seem a little bit out of it, the reason is because I came back off of a 16 hours of travel, landing just a few hours ago. So yeah, apologies in advance. But this will be fun. This is now 1 week till NAB, and we have, yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff to look forward to, I hope. And otherwise, we're going to just chat today. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Start with the letter Q. It makes it easier to filter them on my screen here. And otherwise, yeah, we're going to get things going. Andre says, is the map kind of scrambled for the country names, or is it just me? Yeah, I noticed that actually when I turned on the Fire TV, which is, not the greatest browser, but it does work. And I was like, oh, the country names look weird on the Fire TV. And I assumed it was just a glitch on that. But then they also looked weird in OBS, and which usually renders things better. And I don't know exactly what's going on, but all I can assume is that Google changed something about their map rendering, and my custom map colors on them need updating. So you can go into Google and create like a custom map style where you can color different parts of the map, different things. So like that's how I've got the country or the landmass colored my branded green, and the water is my branded blue. And I took out some of the other colors. So I guess I need to go update that. It's very weird. Cool. Okay, lots of good questions coming in. Let me scroll back really quick. IT Never Gets Old says, did you see there's an update for the OC Ghost Stream that offers video follows audio? It would be interesting to try out. I did. I just got that notice. That's super cool. So they're doing the auto switching feature based on audio levels now too, which is great. I will test it out for sure. I have not tried it out yet. Obviously, have not even. Most of this stuff has just been turned off. I've been out of the studio for a couple weeks now. Just getting back into things, but I will check that out for sure, and hopefully chat with them at the booth on Sunday. Speaking of OC, their capture cards in Duet is on sale. Cool. I didn't even notice that either, but that is also great. There's let me see if I can find that. What was that? The Duet, yeah. There's the link. Does this work? Yes. Yeah, Ghost Stream Duet link. That's cool. That's on sale. I'm assuming it's because there is something new coming out soon. Yeah, B&H has it for $330. That is such a good deal for that thing. What a good deal. Technobuzz asks, do you know more about the new OC switcher? Looks very interesting from the specs released today. I didn't think they were releasing those specs today. Where did you see that? I do know something about it. But yeah, tell me where you found that, because I didn't think that was gonna be released yet. Facebook. Interesting. I'm assuming it's still a secret for now, so I'm going to just leave it at that until I can confirm. Matt says, glad you're back based on what happened in Bangkok. That was so bad. The earthquake in Myanmar, which is a long ways away from Bangkok, but it had shockwaves that made it to Bangkok and completely took down a building that was under construction, thankfully. Not very well, as it turns out. The building just completely collapsed. But that building was right next to the train station that we arrived in Bangkok at the week before that. So just barely missed that. Andre says, I've been out of it for some time during Ramadan, so the YoloBox Extreme came on sale. I mean, released. Okay, yeah. So the YoloBox Extreme is also. I'm very confused about what the launch plans are for this because Frank. I was talking with Frank, and he was like asked me to do a video or live stream about it, and I was like, well, I could probably do one today. If you want to release it today. And then he said, no, wait a couple days. We'll do like the full launch on. I think it's now Wednesday this week. But it's also already shipping to people, so I'm very confused about what exactly that deal is. So some people have it now who are not just reviewers, and I'm not supposed to do anything about it until Wednesday. So I think I will probably, assuming my schedule allows, try to squeeze in a live stream using the YoloBox Extreme for Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. Depends on how smooth things go as I'm recovering from the trip, catching up on things. So yeah. Okay. Oh, Bowles Pomer says, what was your kit for your train trip for members? Okay, so I brought a couple things with me for the trip because we were gone for 3 whole weeks and 2 of my Sunday days. So that was because we left Monday the 10th. So it was the 16th and 23rd for my live stream. And Lily did a live stream on the 11th and 18th. And then missed last week because we were on a train. So there were 4 live streams total. And I was like, that seems like enough to actually bring a proper kit and not just try to wing it or skip it. So I brought a couple of things and it worked reasonably well. I actually brought the whole bag down with everything in it, which is heavier than I thought it was. So I brought the Director Mini. I brought the Pocket 3 for the camera, which I left upstairs. I also had my GH7 camera, which I used for one of my live streams, but ended up using the Pocket 3 for the second one just because it was like so much smaller. And yeah, so the main thing was the Director Mini. Super cool. Oh yeah, this little padded case. Super cool. It's just very, very, a lot of options you get with it of inputs and outputs. So the Pocket 3 over USB was the main camera for both Lily's streams, one of mine. I did run my GH7 into it as the main camera for one of the streams, and then I just didn't feel like doing it for the second one. Honestly, the Pocket 3 is a decent enough camera. But one of the other cool things is because of all the inputs and outputs and options you get, you can bring in a lot of network feeds. So I had like an iPhone as a camera. I had for the second one, I actually had Lily's Pocket 2 streaming RTMP into the Director Mini so that I could get a view out the window, which was kind of fun. Let me find that. That was last week. So hopefully some of you were there. I know some of you were there. But we had, it was not the best angle out the window, but I did what I could. And I had just streamed out the window. So this was the Pocket 2, streaming the view out the window of the insane traffic in Ho Chi Minh City. And we were just right at the water there. It was kind of fun, but it did pretty good. Oh, thanks for the cheers. that was from the members stream deck, members only stream deck that gets control of my stream now. Thanks for that. Window view was awesome. The traffic was crazy. Yeah, I need to do that more often. Oh, Seth, thanks for the comment. Appreciate your videos, and I use your live chat browser extension on every channel I'm on. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Oh, and Keith, thank you for the super chat. Coffee for Extreme Wednesday. Oh, is that what we're going to call it? Extreme Wednesday? I guess that makes sense. Um, so the kit worked pretty well, and then on what day was that? On 4 days ago, it was March 25th. We were taking the train from Ho Chi Minh City up to Da Nang in Vietnam, and it's an overnight train. And it was actually Lily's normal live stream time was the morning of that train, but she didn't want to risk it. Didn't I also didn't want to risk it. I had no idea what the internet was going to be like on the train ride. But in the morning I checked and it was like reasonably decent internet. Still wasn't quite confident enough to do like a normal live stream, but I did set up the rig and stream out the window. Didn't set up the whole rig. I set up enough to stream out the window. So for the train ride, for a good 30 minutes or so, I was streaming the view out the train. This went out as a members only live stream. So if you're a channel member, you should have gotten a notification about it and could drop into it. There was no audio. I wasn't talking. It was just the view out the window, but we did have a nice chat. So for that, I did not want to set up the entire director mini rig on the train, but instead did something a little bit more elaborate, which was because I had the travel router with me. Well, actually, so this is not exactly this. I didn't do this on the train, but side note, travel router. This is one of the GL iNet travel routers. This came in handy for a number of things, as it always does. And one of them is that this can VPN into my home network. And I had this set up to VPN to the home network, which meant that anything that is connected to that router, whether it's wired or Wi-Fi, is effectively on the home network. And I can access everything here as if I were at home, which is super, super handy because, oh, I just realized my other screen. I turned so many things off when I left because I was like, I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. No sense in having everything powered up. But yeah, you can see some of the glitches, the internet glitches from the train ride. So it's as if I were at home, which means that like I can screen share, I can remote desktop into my computers, I can stream things to the local streaming receivers on the network, things like that. So so with the travel router, where was I? Travel router. At the hotels, I had that set up and I just left it on all the time. And it was like, it was great because I could access stuff at home. When I was on the train, I didn't want to have a whole thing set up. So instead what I did was, I just VPN from my laptop into the home network. And then I was able to turn everything back on here. So I turned on the ATEM, I turned on enough stuff to get things sort of back up and running. I turned on one of the Magewell Pro converts, and my thought was for live streaming from the train, I would rather stream from the train into the home network and then stream from home to YouTube. That way, again, YouTube is getting a consistent video feed whether or not the train network Wi-Fi goes down. So, or I was on my cell network. So I VPN into the studio. I created a super source layout in the ATEM with, well, it's actually still here. I can put my camera into the super source. So I had this layout created with just my background and then one input scaled down a little bit, which I made it I think for that, yeah, I was using the Pro Convert for that. So using the Pro Convert in this little box, then I streamed from, what was I actually streaming from? I think it was my phone. Oh yeah, so I was trying out a new app that I had not used before. So the new thing that I was doing was trying out this app that has come up a few times. and it's called Moblin. It's a open source app, and it's surprisingly featureful. So it looks like this. Relatively simple UI, but there's tons and tons of settings. Honestly, almost too many settings. You can actually customize this, which I need to do. Trim it down a little bit. But this lets you choose which cameras you're using, lets you choose your audio, choose your bitrate, set up streaming locations. So I basically went and streamed from this app directly into the ProConvert over the local address of the ProConvert on my network, because my phone was VPN'd into the home network too. So that's what I was streaming with. It was just the phone going into the home network, and then back out to YouTube from my normal ATEM. And it worked pretty well. I was at the mercy of my cell phone connection, so obviously not great, and highly variable as we're going along on the tracks. But it was enough to get a stream out, and I let it run for about 30 minutes, and then actually what ended up happening was my phone overheated because it was in the window, and it was like 8 or 9 a.m. or something. And that side of the train was the side the sun was shining on. So my phone was in direct sunlight for 30 minutes, doing a lot of work, streaming, and it just overheated and gave up. So yeah, if I'd been on the other side of the train, I think I could have gone for longer. But it worked surprisingly well regardless, which was kind of fun. So that was the train stream. Oh, Seth, thank you. Proper thanks for the live chat browser extension. Oh, I appreciate it. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do, because I don't have a way to charge anybody for that extension, and I don't really want to either, because it just adds a whole another layer of complications. So I do appreciate the super chats. What was the name of that app again? It's called Moblin. I'll drop the link into the chat. It is in the App Store, so you can find it there. But then there's also good documentation on the GitHub for the project. I don't have an Apple Watch, but apparently there's also an Apple Watch integration, which is kind of cool. So you can see the chat on the watch and things like that. It has so many features. So, yeah, I need to do some deeper dives on this, because it is pretty cool. Oh, and Matt says Moblin has a very dedicated Discord server. Yeah, also a good tip. Facebook admins are currently running a prize drawing to guess the cost of the new switcher based on its published specs. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Let me see if I can. I think that group is a private group, isn't it? It is a private group. I found the post. I'm gonna not share this on the stream, because it is a private Facebook group. Okay, I found the post, and I do see the details now. If you're in that group, I'll give you a link to the group so you can join it. But we're gonna keep the discussion of that in their Facebook group. Here is the OC Facebook group. So you should be able to join. It is a private group, but I don't know. I think they let anybody in. So you'll just have to request to get into the group, and then you can find out the details of that before I will be able to share it with you. This Moblin thing looks amazing. Yeah, it does. It really is. It really is a lot. It can do a lot. Um, and before I was using Lyrics Broadcaster, which was definitely flaky. And so far, this has already been better, and I've barely scratched the surface. So I'm hopefully I'll be able to do more stuff with it. Now that the weather's getting better in Portland, maybe I'll even try to do some outdoor streams here on a bike with just the phone. Yeah, it does a lot. I'm just scrolling through the list of features here. It's really DJI camera Bluetooth controller with, so yeah, it has Pocket 3 and Osmo Action integration as well. Cat printer support is the funniest thing. You know, there's the little thermal printers that look like a little cat, and apparently there's integration with that. Yeah, I might have to rig that up because it's really that's really something. Do I have the new OC? It is. I told them not to send it until I'm back, but I think it's at the post office, so I can go pick it up tomorrow. But I'm not supposed to do any videos about it until it's out, so don't expect any details from me yet. Barber View says, I want to play, oh, actual question here. Great. I want to play a video, but run the video sound back into the house mix. I have a Blackmagic ATEM Extreme. Any feedback? It's being displayed on an LED wall. The run the video sound back into so essentially you're going to have to treat this as something that's entirely separate from your ATEM, because the ATEM, one, it only gives you one audio mix, but yeah, it only gives you one audio mix, so you probably don't want to send your entire well, actually, it depends on what your audio is. If you are already sending all the audio in your ATEM to the speakers for the in-room audience, then you can just grab a video player of really any kind and run it into the ATEM and just mix the audio that way. Chances are you probably don't want the same audio in the room as what's on the stream. So in that case, you essentially need to treat your audio totally separately. This is something that the RØDECaster video is really good at, but with the ATEM, not really. So you'll have an external audio mixer for that. The one thing about LED walls is you need to be conscious of the video delay, because it can be a little bit disorienting if there's too much of a delay on what's in the room compared to what's on the stream. However, that's only relevant if it's like you're mixing it with in-room video. If it's just a video playback, it doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 frames delayed on the video wall. So you don't really need to worry about it, in which case literally any video player will work. ATEM Extreme does not have any video playback capabilities in it, and that means you need some sort of external video player. So the like the Blackmagic way is to get a hyperdeck. The hyperdeck, any of the hyperdeck models can do video playback, but those are extremely picky about video formats. So you're going to have to convert your video to a video format that it supports beforehand. The nice thing is you can automate it with Companion or through the ATEM directly. One of the other more flexible ways is to use the app called Live App, which is not the best name because it's so hard to search for. Let me see if I can find the link though. I think I just registered a domain for them. Yeah. I registered liveapp.pro for them and then gave it to them. So that's the link. And this app will let you play back videos from an iPad, or so you can load things into that and then make playlists and send the iPad output back into the ATEM. It's another good option. It can also be triggered. You can trigger playback in that app when it comes on screen. So really good integration. Search my channel. I have some other videos and demos I've done about that app. So a couple different options for you there. Mike says, question, Director Mini, I've seen some complaints about the USB-C input frame rate. Any issues? I think it depends on the camera a lot. I didn't have any issues with the Osmo Pocket 3. If you go back and look at last week's stream or any of the demos where I used, or Lily's stream last week, that's the USB-C video input from the Pocket 3 into the Director Mini, and it looks fantastic. Like, no complaints at all. So I assume that some other cameras are not going to be as good. It really will depend on what video format they're sending. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear what specific cameras you're hearing the complaints about. Does LiveApp also run on Apple Silicon Macs? You know, I guess it should. I hadn't really, I haven't tried that. I'm not sure how. I don't remember what the deal is of Apple Mac OS running iPad apps in terms of how they handle external screens, because one of the important features that LiveApp does is it is able to output treat the external display as like a separate display, so it can output the clean video instead of just a copy of the app. So I don't know how that works on Mac OS running iPad apps. Would be interesting to try it. Matt says, I discussed Moblin on their Discord and it doesn't and will not support the Pocket 3. Oh, why? That's weird. That's a bummer. I'll have to dig into that. That's interesting. Razor Baby says, thank you, Obspot Tale 2. Need a PTZ to work with Director Mini at a gig without success. Looked up one of your YouTube videos and port 52381 sound familiar. Saved the day. Oh, great. Yeah. I do remember something about having to figure out that port number when I was playing with the Obspot 2. Glad you got it working. That is most excellent. Matt says, I'm building my kit for my 13-week around the world tour. 13 weeks. Man, I did 3 weeks and that was enough for me. I will bring my tail air for window views. Yes. I just don't want to bring a full kit. Yeah, 13 weeks is a long time. I probably wouldn't have brought all this stuff for a 13-week trip and tried to figure out some way to do it with an iPad or OBS. I grabbed all the video gear that I brought with me out of my suitcase this morning and I tossed it into a bag to bring downstairs to unpack. And it is heavy. It is heavier than I thought. And it's mostly just like random cables. My, one fun accessory. My charger, which is a monster charger. It's the heaviest charger I've ever had, but it's so good for traveling. I just need to give a quick shout out to this thing. I bought this couple of trips ago. I think more than 6 months ago at this point. It's a monster. It is a 200 watt charger. And it's heavy. You can tell. So it's got the AC power on the back. So it's just a cord. So all of the transformers are in here, which is nice. 4 USB-Cs and 2 USB-As, but the USB-Cs are, the whole thing is 200 watts. So it can actually output like 60 watts out of this one, which is for a computer. And then the other ones support, what is it? It's all on the back. USB-C 1, 2, 3, 4 supports 9 volt, 3 amp. Oh, wow. Yeah. It supports like every kind of every USB-C voltage. Total output 200 watts. So you can charge a computer like full speed and 3 other devices. It's great for just what I do basically is I just stick this in the hotel room when I get in and then all I need is one hotel outlet, which is sometimes a problem because there sometimes is only one outlet on the desk or whatever, or somewhere behind a lamp. But then you get all of these outputs for it. So it is just a lifesaver for traveling. And it is heavy. It is like, I don't have a scale over here, but it's got some weight, but it's worth the weight. Okay, let me scroll through here. What's going on? Think wise, what is your salary? That's a weird question. You know, I was actually thinking about this though. Because everything that I do with the YouTube channel is it's like it's the second it's a hobby. It's not my main job. I have an actual job, which is usually why I'm traveling. Um, so this is just what I do on the weekends. But everything that like this channel makes enough money to support the channel now, which is really nice. I haven't had to put new money into the channel in a very, very long time. So it's essentially an entirely self-contained budget. And so I have like YouTube ad revenue, which is some chunk of it. I have affiliate links, which is about the same as the ad revenue that comes in from YouTube directly. Occasionally, I will do a sponsored video. I don't do very many of them. It's usually very, very clear when I do a sponsored video because it'll say this video is sponsored by, like at the beginning. And then there's sometimes I'll do like an odd job here and there of like the conference I did in October. I don't do very many of those anymore, but in any case, that's all. I consider that all to be like YouTube money, and all of that money goes straight back into the channel. I don't ever take anything out for myself. I don't pay myself out of the channel. So everything that comes in that way, super chats, YouTube ads, affiliate links, it all just helps support the channel. And that lets me do things like buy the extra gear that when a company doesn't send me something because maybe I just want to try something out, or I don't want to be burdened with the relationship of having a company send me something and expect a video in return. Or if it's just something that I need, like an extra stream deck or whatever. So I was thinking that it might be a fun, because this came up because I was doing my taxes or doing my bookkeeping for my taxes. I don't do my taxes. I was doing my bookkeeping to give to my tax guy. And I was like, realized that I hadn't actually done, I hadn't actually caught up on my bookkeeping since last year preparing for tax season. So that's not good. I should really be doing that more often. And I was thinking, maybe it would be a fun thing to do as a members only live stream of doing my monthly accounting and just going through my YouTube accounting, because it is entirely self-contained. So I have no problem sharing everything about it. And it'd be kind of fun. Watch me do my accounting, see the income that comes in, see what I'm spending money on. You can tell me how many cameras I shouldn't buy. Tell me, maybe I can get some input on where to budget for different gear. It'd be kind of fun. So if that happens, it's going to be members only. So if you're a channel member, you should get a notice when that live stream pops up. But the idea would be to also help me stay on track and not have a year's worth of accounting to do at the end of the year. Spreadsheets, yeah. Right now I'm using YNAB, which is essentially a really fancy spreadsheet, but I might switch to something else that's just a little bit more business accounting oriented. We're not the people to tell you not to buy something. Well, you'll be able to see the actual whether or not I can actually afford it. So maybe you feel differently. In plain sight joined as a mini supporter. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm thinking the pie chart has a huge slice for cables. Yes, that is true. I spend a surprising amount of money on cables. Andre says there's even a 250 watt version now of the charger with a screen. Oh, fancy. With a screen. The reluctant marketer says, I recently connected a Mica spec to the ATEM Extreme and played some MP3 music. On inputs 1 and 2, the music was audible but distorted. On inputs 3 to 8, I got no sound at all. You know, I've heard of this happening. Again, the difference between the inputs 1 and 2 on the ATEM Extreme and 3 to 8 is that there's a different HDMI chip that is used in order to get the pass-through mode on inputs 1 and 2 outputting to HDMI 1 and 2. So different HDMI chips, so you will often see these kinds of differences with things going into the inputs 1 and 2 versus the rest of the inputs. The audio situation, if I remember correctly, the ATEM expects 48 kilohertz audio, not 44.1, and sometimes these devices only output audio in one format. And I'm guessing what's happening with inputs 3 to 8 is that it's just not getting recognized by the HDMI chip, and inputs 1 and 2 is not negotiating the right format. So see if there's a setting in the Mecha spec. I can't remember if there is, and there's also slightly different models of it now. So there's like the 4K and then the HD, and then there's like a different brand version that's almost identical. See if there's a setting to change the audio format to 48 kilohertz. But otherwise, I think you're just going to be out of luck with that. Maybe sending it through sometimes sending it through, well, definitely a scaler would fix it, but that's like an expensive solution. Sometimes little HDMI splitters or EDID matchers can fix it too, but it depends. It'll take some experimenting. The Reluctant Marketer says you can use Wave accounting. That was one of the ones on my list. There was a couple others. I definitely don't want to use QuickBooks Online. It's not that great, but it's also really expensive. Anyway, would that charger work well for charging multiple power banks? Yeah, sure. The power banks, check your specs because they will often have different levels of voltage they support charging at. But that one port with the computer icon supports the high power USB-C. And the rest of them would work with anything. Speakeasy says, thoughts on the new GL iNet remote KVM? I've not even seen that. That sounds interesting. I haven't seen this yet. This is cool. Oh, pre-orders only. Remote KVM with 2K and low latency. I'm gonna have to try that. Super interesting. I would like, that's a decent price too, $69. I wouldn't mind that for a couple of my servers that live at home. Mike says, we'll make you increase your dongle budget. Also another thing that is not super fun to buy, but is very necessary sometimes. Okay, time to I made some coffee this morning, but time for more caffeine. It's definitely hard to wake up this morning, but I was like, if I can get out of bed, I'm pretty sure I'll be okay. Football Star says, I have a problem with the YoloBox and Canon R7 with aspect ratio. People looks fat. Do you know why? Canon R7. I haven't used any Canon cameras in a very long time, but chances are, yeah, I can't remember the Canon settings, but in some cameras, you can change the aspect ratio of what's being recorded, and it's not always 16:9. So changing the aspect ratio to 16:9 sometimes will fix the HDMI output. You'll also need to double check that there is a clean HDMI output option in the camera, because if there's not, then it might be outputting the wrong aspect ratio also. I think the R7 supports clean HDMI out. Okay, I'm looking at the forum thread. Yes, it does support HDMI out, but then it also means no in-camera recording. I'm guessing there's got to be some setting in there to change it to the right aspect ratio. Kino Park says, what camera are you using now? For the live stream, this is the BGH1. So all my live stream cameras are the Lumix BGH1. And They are little box cameras with no screen on them. They're not super cheap, but sometimes you can find deals on them. I happen to find a ridiculously good deal, which is why I have so many of them. But that's the camera that I'm using for all the different angles here, except for this one, which is the PTZ camera, AV cans. Matt says my big purchase for the trip will be a new camera. My Sony is too heavy to lug all around the world. Leica Q3 is $7,000. Man, those Leicas, those are so expensive. But everybody who I've heard has one loves it. So, I mean, if you have the money, yeah, look at that. Which lens system do these use? I was looking at cameras at when I was in Hong Kong yesterday. Oh, that's a weird thing to say. I went to some camera stores. I didn't literally got back last night, so I've not had a chance to like compile any pictures of anything when I was there. But I went to so many camera stores yesterday because I was just curious about what the camera stores are like in Hong Kong. And I was looking for, in particular, something that I cannot find in the US. It is the, I'm going to have to just buy it on the internet now at this point. It's the Lumix GM1, which is not, it's an old camera, but it's the smallest Micro Four Thirds body I've ever seen. Here's a used one. I think I can find one cheaper than this. But it's cool. It's old. It's like, I think 10 years old. So some of the camera stores I walked in and they were like, oh, you need to go to a secondhand store. We don't have anything used. Some of the secondhand stores were like, oh no, that's too old. But then they were also selling like Sony cameras from 10 years ago as if they were new. So I'm very confused about what was going on. Because I would look at some of the cameras and be like, wow, I haven't seen that before. And then I would look it up on the internet on the phone, and it would be like, this was released in 2015 or 2018. And I was like, you're showing me like a retail price that appears as if it were a new camera. Very confusing. Let me see if I can find some of the. There's a lot of really cool cameras though. I think I'm really sad about the trend of these cameras. Like the GH7 is great, but it's huge. It's massive, and for like it's massive because it's got like so many video modes and video capabilities that are like incredible. But like, yeah, it can do a lot. I really would like to find a smaller camera that has Micro Four Thirds camera, but optimized for photos, not videos, but has all the fancy new photo capabilities that these have, like super fast continuous shutter, good autofocus, subject detection. There's a ton of stuff in this thing that is super, super cool, but I would just love it in a slightly smaller body like the GM1 or the GX85. And that does not seem to be a thing that's happening anymore, which is kind of a bummer. Let's see. Yeah, so they were selling like, here's another one. This one was at some of the stores, the GF3. It's a very, very old camera, but look how cute it is. Yeah, $130 on Autorama for used, but they were selling it like it was a new camera, and then they would tell me that, oh no, the GM1 is too old. Anyway, very confusing. Everything in Hong Kong is a negotiation. Some of the shops I got the impression are not a negotiation. So yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. Tom says, I was just watching the new Obspot Tale 2. Are you going to review that one? Yes, I will. I should have it in the PO box very soon if it's not there already when I go pick it up tomorrow. Kino Park says, what camera can you recommend for soccer amateur league? Depends on what your live streaming setup is. So I guess for outdoor and like this kind of continuous live streaming stuff, the main things to consider are how are you controlling the cameras? Like, do you have a person that's going to be able to control each camera, or are you trying to do it all remote control? Because if you have a person controlling the camera, you can use pretty much any camera because they will be able to fiddle with the settings and move it around and stuff. Or if you want all remote control, then you need some sort of PTZ camera probably. And the next question is, of course, what's your budget? I'm assuming probably not very high, in which case you're going to expect to be able to pay somewhere between $300 to $500 per camera to get something decent, and that's on the low end. The AV cans, which I've done some demos of now, that's this camera, and this one I can move around. Oh, good, it is still working after the power. So I can zoom in and out, I can move it around. I can show you, I can even put in like preset locations to zoom in on different things on the desk. There's the teleprompter spot. I can show you my microphone up there and my hair. But this camera is definitely not the best quality compared to the BGH ones, but it's also pretty affordable and PTZ, which is cool. So those are some things to keep in mind. But it really will depend. Oh, also, do you need to be waterproof? Because that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Mark says, have you tried the new video files audio on the Ghost Stream Deck? No, so I haven't been here since that got released. So I haven't had a chance to update mine yet, but I definitely will try it out. Captain's Cabin says, which is the best monitor for an IRL stream? Atomos, Zato, YoloBox, etc. For IRL streams where you like need the stuff to be as small as possible, I would try to get your entire kit down to as little different pieces as possible. If assuming you're outside, you're gonna need something bright enough. So definitely take a look at the brightness rating, the nits rating on the monitors. The YoloBox is not just a monitor, right? So it's like the full streaming kit, but then you'll have like the Atomos monitors or the monitors / recorders or the Shoguns, which are like more just monitors. There's a handful of different just monitors if that's all you need. So consider if you need just a monitor or if you're trying to get the whole streaming kit into one box, like a YoloBox or a Magewell Director Mini or the new Director 1. Couple different options though. Tom says, are you able to check if it's possible to control the OBSBot Tail 2 with the PTZ controller from Sony? Because that would be cool. I don't have any PTZ controllers, but they all use the Visca protocol. So assuming that it supports Visca, which I'm pretty sure it does, which I can test using other things, it would work. I will be able to test Visca control from Companion and create companion buttons for it. So like what I'm doing right now for the stream is I'm using the Stream Deck to control everything, including this PTZ camera, which you can see as I'm pushing the buttons, it's going to move the camera around. So this is talking Visca from Companion into that camera. So assuming that the OBSBot supports the same protocol, it would work with any PTZ controller, which it should. Oh yeah, weather considerations for outdoor stuff. Other weather consideration is heat, because I really forget how not hot it is in Portland here. It's a very sunny day today, which is nice, but the temperature is going to get, what is the forecast showing today? The temperature is going to get up to a whole 61 degrees, which is like 20, no, 16 degrees Celsius. And man, that's so much nicer than what the weather in Thailand has been. Andrew says that I use a RØDECaster video and connect an external SSD to record. Is there a way to automate or directly transfer those files to a Google Drive directly from the Rode? No, I don't think so at all. The way that you can kind of do it with the ATEM is the ATEM can expose the drive as a network drive and FTP, so you can automate it that way. The RØDECaster video does not have that feature right now, so I don't know if they're going to add it, but it would need them to add support for the RØDECaster video to be a network drive in order for that to work. Speakeasy says I pre-ordered 2 of the Comet KVMs. I hope they test well. That's cool. I'm gonna have to order one of those, I think. Cool. AH377 says, how was your trip to China? I didn't go to China. I went to Hong Kong, which I guess is China. It depends on who you ask. Just for a day. And it was essentially a long layover. So I flew from Vietnam to Hong Kong on one ticket, and then I had a separate ticket out of Hong Kong back to Portland last night. So it was a short trip. I got in at night, like 9 p.m. or something. Basically just went to the hotel, caught up on some work emails, had a drink on the roof, which was a nice tall building. Got up pretty early on Saturday, before the sunrise, and tried to get some photos of the sunrise. It was so cloudy and foggy though that I don't think they're gonna look like anything super interesting. Didn't really get any good colors in the sky, but it was still nice to be up early and walk around. Very, very quiet streets in the morning, and then by like 11 a.m. or noon, everything was packed. But it was nice to not be in super hot, muggy weather anymore, so that was nice to walk around and not just immediately be drenched in sweat. Yeah, I walked around. Oh, I was staying near the old Kowloon walled city. So I walked around to that park. They tore the whole thing down and turned it into a nice park. It was really, really interesting. And walked around that for a little bit, and then took the subway out to a different neighborhood. Found that really long city escalator that goes several blocks long of or moving walkway. It's not steps. It's just like a sloped walkway. I did record a video on the Pocket 3 of that. I have not had a time to compile any of that, so hopefully in a next live stream or after, I'll be able to show you some of that. And then started wandering around finding camera stores, which was then I was on a mission to find that camera. Could not find it. I did. Okay, do I have even a phone picture that's worth sharing? I might have a phone picture worth sharing. Where was it? Yeah, here. So this is one of the camera stores I was in. I need to bring that back. There we go. The mall that I was in was called Sim City, and it is like 6 floors of camera stores and just a bunch of different shops set up, like rent corners of the building and have their own shops there. Really wide range of stuff. Some of them are like only selling lenses. Some of them are like used shops. Some of them are only selling new gear. Lots of different stuff in there. But it was, I think I got there around like maybe 11 a.m. and not a lot of people in there. But then like as like the next hour, by 1 o'clock, a lot of the stores were just slammed full of people. And I was like, what is everybody buying in these camera stores. I didn't know these were so popular. Like who is everybody and what are they buying? And then I started realizing everybody was all the crowds were around the stores that sold film cameras and Instax cameras. And then once I noticed that, I went back down, up and down every floor, and every shop that had Instax or film cameras was packed. And one of them, which is where this picture is from, had a line that was like snaking up and down the very narrow hallway, and everybody was lining up to buy this one Instax camera. And I'm still not exactly sure what the deal was, because only like there were, I think, 3 stores that had this line out, like out and back down the hallway, blocking everything else. And it was for the Instax Mini 12, which is a new camera released 2 weeks ago. So it wasn't like it was opening day. And it was so this is the Instax Mini 12. New camera, I think it came out 2 weeks ago, but the lines to buy this thing were out of control. And I can't exactly figure out why. As far as I can tell, so like, I don't think there were any special colors being sold at the stores. A couple other stores had the Mini 12 on the display, but they didn't have lines out the door. So I'm not exactly sure what the deal was. Maybe they were running some sort of promo. I did notice everybody was walking out with the Instax and like 2 film boxes. So maybe it was a promo where it included film. But yeah, it's wild how much of a like comeback these kind of instant cameras are making right now. I know those kinds of stores. There was also building in Malaysia. Also, great potential for getting your credit card hacked. Better deal in cash. I did not actually end up buying anything. So every time I would, I was looking for 2 things: an Instax for Lily and the Lumix GM1 for me, and possibly an Instax for me. So every time I would find like an Instax camera that I hadn't necessarily seen before, because I haven't been keeping up to date on the product releases, or Kodak or any of the instant cameras, I would go look it up on my phone first to see like, is this new? Is this a good price? And every camera that I found that was every one of these instant cameras, I could find on Amazon or somewhere in the US for sale, and it was like about the same price. So I was like, there's no point in buying it here because I have no return policy, or if anything's wrong with it, and I might as well just buy it in the US. So I ended up not buying any of those. However, the one mistake I made was, and I'm super mad about this because I have a picture of it on the shelf. This one, Instax Mini Evo in pink. So I Googled Instax Mini Evo, and I was like, oh, that's on Amazon. I can find it in the US. And it was like, again, the same price as anywhere had it. The mistake I made was not looking at the color options available in the US, because in the US you can only get it in this black, or there's like a black and brown. And there's this pink one that was a limited release in apparently Japan only, but somehow they have it here in Hong Kong. And this one I cannot find on any US store. And that one I should have just bought there in person when I saw it in front of me, because that I also, like, I was trying to figure out like which of these actually makes sense to buy. And this one I realized is the perfect option, perfect combo, because it has the lens in it and it's like an instant camera, but it doesn't just print as soon as you take a photo. You can like choose which photo to print after you take a few. So it's like a digital camera with some memory that you can then print from internally, but also it's Bluetooth. So you can pair your phone to it and print from your phone. and you can download the photos from the camera into your phone. So the that feels like the best combo for me. And also Lily was dragging around her instant printer, the Kodak one, on this trip. And turns out it's harder to find Kodak paper than it is Instax paper in Thailand and Hong Kong, which is interesting. So this felt like a good option for that. And I should have bought that for her when it was sitting there in front of me on the shelf. And then instead I ordered it from one of those buy shipper stores that like somebody in Japan's buying it and then sending it to this shop that's going to mail it to me. Because I wanted it in pink. So, oh well, missed opportunity. I thought I was doing all my research. Oh well. SimCity is awesome. People tend to shop from mid-morning to later at night in Hong Kong. Yeah, it was 1 o'clock is when it started getting really crowded. Some of the stores didn't even open until like noon anyway. More like stores make patrons buy films with the camera. That could be, but I don't understand why some of the stores that had the Instax 12 did not have the lines. Saltwater Salmon says, well, I understand GoPros are not your favorite. Will they work to live stream both wireless and micro HDMI with my new YoloBox Ultra 9 black, 13 black, and max YoloBox en route? Yes. I do have a video about the settings you'll need to change to make this work well, including the GoPro Labs firmware, which is what you really want to use if you are going to make this work. Where is the video? Search my channel for GoPro. I can probably find it though. Here it is. GoPro settings. Here's the link. Definitely watch that video, change all those settings, install the GoPro Labs firmware so that you can plug it in and get HDMI out when you plug it in, instead of having to go fiddle with the screen first. Then it'll work. I would not expect the wireless to work very well, just because it's tied to the app on a phone as it works, and you'll have to have a phone per camera, which is silly. So expect to only use it wired. I say it's not my favorite option because at this point the Osmo Action cameras are a infinitely better option than the GoPros. You can now also plug in a USB-C to HDMI dongle and get HDMI out of these, which is great. So yeah, but it'll work. It'll work if you already have the GoPros. I still have my GoPros and I'm still going to use them for that because I have them, but I am not going to buy another GoPro. IT Never Gets Old says, Aaron does not hate GoPros for action stuff, but against using it in a fixed studio. That's mostly true. So definitely against using it in a fixed studio. At this point, I'm also now not even happy with them for action stuff compared to DJI. Like, I would not buy a new GoPro at this point. Just, I'm sad about it, but that's just the reality. For action stuff, the Action 5 and whatever they do in the future is, I'm sure, going to be better than the GoPros. And I just feel like GoPro is riding on their brand name at this point exclusively and not actually making that good of a product, and they're just every year releasing a new camera with tiny updates. Sometimes they change the battery size so that the accessories are all incompatible. It's just like, I'm not happy about it anymore. And they're clearly not going to sponsor me. So. Andre says, used to buy underwater photography gear from Malaysia in one of those stores. If you got cash, super nice deals. Yeah, I'm bummed I didn't buy that. Instax, oh well. DJI Action 5 Pro rules every time, pretty much. Razor Baby, thank you for the super chat. As I texted earlier, this is to you for the knowledge to actually look like I know what I'm doing in front of clients. Great, love it. I mean, we all have to learn somewhere. Mark says, it's interesting if you go to the stores to ask for the best price, all of a sudden you notice you get the same price range offered. I'm sure word gets around that someone's hunting for a particular thing. Yeah. Yep. Gordon says, you're lucky and unlucky at once. A few cold front brought wet weather in Hong Kong these few days. Oh yeah, I did notice that it was raining when I arrived. I got a pretty clear day on Saturday, just cloudy. Is it raining again now? Because if so, man, I really lucked out. Do I still have the weather up? Oh, it looks like it's pretty clear right now. Oh, and it's warming up over the next week. Look at that. That's the Hong Kong weather coming up. Looks pretty nice. Little thunderstorms. It's actually very similar to what Portland is doing. Yeah, Portland weather is looking like a good weather stretch coming up. A little bit cloudy, rainy this week, but then sunny and warm, but not too warm. My favorite. Frankentronics is just curious. Do you have a bunch of gear that is no longer useful and has no resale value? Some. I try to cycle it out before it has no resale value. So I've tried to do some fire sales of gear while it still has some useful life in it. I'm sure something around here that has no resale value. Some of it is still useful to me. Some of it is not. But I don't have a ton of space in here, so I do have to like make sure I keep clearing things out occasionally to make room for the new stuff that comes in. Matt says, it's been a while, but I was in Hong Kong. I got the original DJI Osmo Pro, way bigger than the Pocket, months before it was released in the States. Oh yeah, that's one of the other things, is sometimes those things come out in the Asian countries before it hits the US, which is not the case for the Instax, it looks like. Oh, the other thing I noticed in Hong Kong, which was really interesting, there were tons of people with the Osmo Pocket 3 walking around, just filming stuff. More than I'd seen anywhere else. So I thought that was really interesting. Frankentronics says, which USB-C to HDMI dongle do you currently recommend? I do like the Anker ones. There's an Anker one. I have a cable, which I think is packed up somewhere, that has USB-C on one end and HDMI on the other, and that works really well. I don't know if I have a link to that. Here's the Anker USB-C to HDMI. It's good enough. I'll drop that link in the chat. Okay. Gosh, it's been a little over an hour. I should probably wrap up. I need to unpack, do home things like laundry, and get all my video gear unpacked, grocery shopping, all sorts of stuff, and make a plan for videos, because yeah, this is going to be we've got a YoloBox coming out this week. I need to test out the OC firmware. I need to sleep. Yeah. Oh, Joseph says, Canon has introduced a new camera to compete with the ZV-E10 that should handle UVC, which could work with RØDECaster video. Considering a new Canon R50V that I would use as a second shot. Oh, that's cool. I haven't been paying attention to Canon cameras just because I don't have any Canon lenses anymore, so Pocket 3 probably visitors from China. Oh, interesting. Okay. Hong Kong had the first DJI flagship store. Boy, was it hard to not buy everything. There was a DJI store in Bangkok, also right next to the hotel I was staying at. I didn't go, but I walked by it a couple times. I mean, I know everything is in the store now, and I have several of them, so it's not like I need to go look. But yeah, it is cool. Okay, we're gonna wrap up. So I think no live stream next week because I will be at NAB, and I'm only at NAB one day, unfortunately, so only Sunday. I get in Saturday night. There's a road dinner that I got invited to Saturday night. Sunday morning the show floor opens at 10, so I'll be there at 10. I'm not there for long enough. I don't want to bring a bunch of gear, so I think I'm only going to bring probably only the Pocket 3 at this point, and my wireless mic, probably DJI Mini 2, so I can have a mic for the interviewer and one for me, interviewee, and then I have a work event the rest of the week, so I will have to leave NAB Sunday night, unfortunately. So hopefully I'll see some of you there Sunday. If you see me running around, feel free to say hi. I will be running around, probably looking a little bit frantic, but that's just how it goes. And yeah, no live stream next week. And I will catch up with you after that. We'll talk about what happened at NAB, any new products that were released. Hopefully I'll have a chance to have tried out some more things between now and then. So that is the plan. And with that, thanks everybody for the support. Always nice stream. See you after NAB. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Larry, Kevin, and Marcin. And yeah, thanks everybody else for the support. If you are a channel member, make sure you've clicked through down below to the members Discord, where you can pop in and say hi, and we can chat throughout the week. I share some behind the scenes pictures as I'm traveling around. And thanks to the super chats this week. Again, if you are a channel member, I think I'm going to do this members only live stream of doing my accounting for the YouTube channel. So stay tuned. I should probably schedule one for pretty soon, because now there's been March accounting to do, which I think I only did February when I was doing my taxes. So got a month of accounting to do. This one should be a quick one because I was traveling for so long, but it'll be fun. Spreadsheets, fun. Maybe I need some sort of gimmick like Lily does of eating a donut and doing my accounting or something. Okay, see you all at NAB or after NAB. We've got got a lot of stuff coming out. All right. Thanks everybody. See you later. Bye.